Holy smokes, folks! You are not ready for the absolute chaos that went down last night. Picture this: the king of shock jocks, Howard Stern, squaring off against the rebel royal himself, Prince Harry. This wasn't just an interview. It was a verbal cage match that left everyone stunned. Harry thought he could stroll into Howard Stern's studio, flash that royal charm, and plug his shiny new Netflix documentary without breaking a sweat. Oh boy, was he in for a rude awakening. Howard Stern, the guy who's built an empire tearing down celebrity facades, smelled blood from the jump and turned this into the most jaw-dropping takedown in radio history. If you thought royal scandals were spicy, this clash is pure dynamite. So smash that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let's dive into the wildest confrontation you'll ever hear about. The scene is set, Sirius XM Studios in New York City, buzzing with that electric vibe you only get when something's about to go off. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, the guy who's swapped crowns for California sunsets, steps into the lion's den. He's there to hype his latest Netflix series, all about his journey to healing, or whatever buzzword his PR team is pushing this week. But Howard Stern isn't here for the fluff. He's the master of cutting through the noise, and he's not about to let Harry skate by with rehearsed lines. Word from backstage is Harry came with a list of don't go there topics. No family drama, no Meghan bashing, no digging into the money moves. His entourage, a crew of stone-faced handlers, clutching clipboards like they're headed into battle, swarm the studio. They're whispering, eyeing Howard's team like they're expecting a sneak attack. But anyone who's ever tuned into the Howard Stern Show knows one thing. Howard doesn't play by anyone else's rules. He thrives on raw, unfiltered chaos, peeling back layers until his guests are laid bare. Howard kicks things off in classic style. Leaned back in his chair, mic in hand, that sly New York smirk, screaming trouble. "All right, Harry," he drawls, voice dripping with that mix of charm and menace that made him a legend. "You're here pushing your Netflix thing, looks fancy, but let's be real. Don't you think America's sick of the whole poor me? I grew up in a palace with butlers and billions routine. How many times can you play that victim card before it gets old?" Bam. The question hits like a sledgehammer. The studio air turns thick. Harry's polished media smile flickers just for a second, but Howard catches it. He always does. He's got a sixth sense for spotting cracks in the armor. Harry recovers fast, though he's been through the royal ringer. "Well, Howard," he says, accent sharpening, like he's bracing for impact, "I believe there's a huge difference between sharing your truth and whining. Mental health hits everyone, no matter their status or wealth. Mental health." Howard nods, but you can see the gears turning. His eyes narrow that glint. His fans know means he's about to go in. Sure, mental health. Important stuff, but let's keep it real. Harry, you've made millions spilling your sob story. That Netflix deal, what, 100 mil? Your book bestseller, goldmine podcasts, docs, interviews galore. At what point does sharing your truth become a cash cow? You're like the CEO of Trauma Inc. The room goes dead quiet. Harry's handlers swap nervous looks, probably mentally drafting crisis emails. Robin quivers, Howard's ride, or die sidekick, who usually keeps things light, stays silent, but her eyes scream. She knows what's coming. Harry, to his credit, doesn't run. He leans in trying to steer. "Well, Howard," he says, voice tight, "that's a pretty cynical take. When you open up about trauma and healing, it helps others who are struggling. It's about connection, not cash trauma." Howard repeats like he's chewing on something sour. He leans forward, elbows on the desk, staring Harry down. "You want to talk trauma, Harry? Real trauma. That's growing up in the projects, dodging bullets with a mom on drugs, and a dad long gone. That's grinding 3 jobs to keep a roof over your head. Not crying, 'cause your chef screwed up your eggs at the estate. That's trauma, pal. Not the royal kind where you jet to polo matches and moan about paparazzi, ouch." The studio chills to ice, Harry's jaw tightens, muscles twitching. Robin lets out a soft, "oh boy," under her breath, bracing for the storm. Handlers are on edge, clipboards forgotten, ready to yank Harry if this goes south. But Harry fires back, voice climbing. That's incredibly dismissive. "Howard, money doesn't erase pain. Losing my mom so young. The nonstop media attacks the systemic racism. My wife faced. Those are real traumas. Here comes the racism card." Howard cuts in sarcasm, thick as syrup. He sits up, locking eyes with Harry in a stare that could burn holes. "You know what's funny, Harry?" Every critique, every bad headline, boom, it's racism. Can be that some folks just see you two as entitled whiners who trash the family that made you. Nah, gotta be racism. Every time enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment.